All right, everybody. I just went live. It froze. This is the new video. I'm going to jump right into the charts. There's no intro here, so if you're a replay viewer, congratulations. This is your special day. We're talking about Bitcoin patterns, right? And hopefully this doesn't freeze again. I'm just going to go through this technical analysis. We're on the Bitcoin charts. We're talking about Bitcoin patterns. And I started in the live stream that just failed by showing you this very brief, short clip from July 22nd. So I just want to play it real quick and then talk about it. Why I thought it might happen, because it's for Bitcoin would look something like visiting that $8,500, potentially $8,100 area down here for Bitcoin, right? In terms of price range, that could be from where we're trading right now, another 15, 20% or so to the downside, to that lower low. Now, there it is. So lower low for Bitcoin. Obviously, then Bitcoin was trading above $10,000 a couple months ago, over 2 months ago, a bullish environment. And what has happened? We've come down and now we're trading in a lower low for Bitcoin. And we're in that we're actually like right at $8,100 right now. So I'm showing that clip for two reasons. Number one, this took 2 months to get here, right? So every move that plays into a pattern, whether it's a lower low or lower high, a higher high, a higher low, whatever, it takes time, especially in these cycle changes for Bitcoin and Litecoin, right? So that was number one, patience. You have to have patience in these markets. And this is kind of a picture of buying the dip. Right now, we're at a lower low, right? We're in this falling wedge for Bitcoin. Number two, the other reason I just showed that clip is simply because it shows you how reliable Bitcoin patterns are. Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever patterns you're looking at, whatever crypto you're looking at, extremely reliable, right? So the data suggested that if Bitcoin was going to see a lower low in these markets, it would be in that vicinity of $8,100. Now, how long will we be here? I don't know. Are we going to get a bounce to the upside or downside? That is yet to be seen. Momentum oscillators tell us we're oversold, so a bounce back to the upside. In particular, this area where we have this lower trend line of this symmetrical triangle, almost confluent with this upper trend line right here, because we're getting into the apex there of this falling wedge. There's a lot of confluence and potential resistance in this like 9,600 to 10,200 area, right? Right up here. That could be a great area for Bitcoin to make a bounce to, a run to, and then from there, see what happens, right? See if Bitcoin breaks through it bullishly, or if we get actual resistance here, right? And this is very often we break out of a pattern like this symmetrical triangle, we come down, we test the trend line again, and then we come down again, right? And again, I started this video by showing you a video from July 22nd, which was all the way back here, right? Talking about an $8,100 lower low. And it took over 2 months to get here, and we're here now. So exactly the same type of thing. I'm doing a video now, September 28th, talking about another potential lower low. And this could, again, be 2 months ahead, right? So patience, everybody. We're not all going to get what we want in these markets immediately. So that's that. I really wanted to just kind of go over that Bitcoin pattern that we talked about a couple months ago, because it's still in play. Now, I want to say in regards to that pattern, and we talked about this, right? We talked about Bitcoin resistance at this Fibonacci retracement area right up here. That is the bull market doors. And if you haven't seen, this is what the Fibonacci retracement looks like. This is the bull market high 2017. That's not the right. That is not the right tool. Bull market high 2017, bear market low. Here's our Fibonacci retracement. That's the doors of the bull market. We hit resistance there, right? It wasn't surprising. I've been saying we're not in a bull market until we break this area. Many disagree. Now that we're at $8,100, I think it's easier for some people to agree with that. But it takes time for us to break through that. The same exact type of move happened, as you know, back in 2016. It took months to break through this area, right? So that's where we are right now. And right now, what we talked about, though, leading into that breakout above those doorways to the bull market, can we get a bullish setup, right? A bullish setup to launch us through that area is what we want, is what we need from a technical perspective, right? And so far we've been getting it, right? We have these lower highs of Bitcoin. We have these lower lows. So what we have on the chart right now is a falling wedge, essentially, right? And in a falling wedge, oftentimes you get a very nice bullish breakout to the upside, right? This could be in the winter. This could be in December. This could be November. This could be early of 2020, right? I don't know when this will break, but that is what we're looking for a continuation of this into this bull market. So that's Bitcoin. I really wanted to just kind of go over those charts. I talked about momentum yesterday's video. Definitely check it out. And the reason I have this titled, it's good that price is down, plays into the momentum, right? I mean, look at the stock RSI on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Obviously a quicker moving momentum oscillator, not as impressive. But if you go over to the weekly chart, we've cooled down. Stock RSI on the weekly chart oversold. Now we're talking. That's nice looking, right? So price is down, but if you're interested in accumulating Bitcoin and Litecoin, this is what you want, right? And this is what everybody begs for and calls for when Bitcoin is going parabolic and Bitcoin is seeing gains and they feel like they missed a boat. You see a lot of people tweeting, "Oh, I need a dip. I need Bitcoin to dip. One more time." Well, we're there now, right? So if you want to accumulate Bitcoin and Litecoin, it has dipped and we are there. I want to talk about Litecoin. Mental note right around 6 minutes, 30 seconds into this video. Litecoin, there's just some really key things I want to talk about. Litecoin, again, this is where opportunity is high right now for Litecoin. I know it doesn't seem like it. We were literally just at $140, right? Just, 2 to 3 months ago? And now we're at $55. That looks terrible. Especially somebody new into crypto, they don't understand the volatility of the markets. That just looks like a fail. Litecoin's still up dramatically from its December lows, right? It just still is. It's up. But even more important, there's some things that we really should look at, and really some things I'm looking at, right? You can do whatever you want. I want to share what I'm looking at. Here's what we know, and this is what I want to talk about. Here is what we know in terms of Litecoin. And this isn't really so much my opinion as it's just literally what we know. It's what the markets tell us. It's what the charts tell us. Here's what we know. Many people, right, bought Litecoin right here. You might be watching this video and you might be saying, "Dang, that's me. I bought Litecoin right here." In the long term, that probably will be okay, right? If Litecoin continues its bullish trajectory. In the short term, that feels pretty terrible. But we know that people did that. We also know the second point. Many wish they would have been here or bought here, right? And now we're going back years. This is 2015. This is when Litecoin was like $3, right? Many of you, including myself, I wasn't buying Litecoin back here. I think it would have been awesome if I was here then buying Litecoin, but I wasn't. And that's the second thing we know. We know people wanted to be here to buy, and we also know that people actually were here and bought here. They bought the top of Litecoin. Why that's important is if we go to, and this is the monthly chart, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. I don't always use a monthly chart. This is the monthly chart. We go to the momentum oscillator, the monthly RSI, right? And we look at this, and now we're taking different data points. So we're taking a factual data point from a social perspective, which is to say many people bought the top, right, when they probably shouldn't have, and many people didn't buy, $3 Litecoin, which would have played out really nicely. But then we take the second data point, which is what the charts are telling us in terms of momentum. And this is what it shows. Many people bought Litecoin when it was overbought, right? At a peak top of its cycle moment, right? Top of the bull market moment, people bought. And the RSI here was telling us that it was overbought, right? And that's not when you want to buy, especially on a monthly RSI, a monthly oscillator like this, momentum oscillator like this. So number two, when people wish they would have been here to buy, look where the monthly momentum oscillator was. All the way down here, around 50. Nowhere near overbought on the monthly charts. Now we take that. We just take what we know that I just explained to you, and we say, okay, how's the opportunity now in regards to historical data that we have and these data points we just very briefly talked about? Well, here we are. We're under 50 on the RSI, on the monthly chart for Litecoin after a large retracement. Would I be telling you to purchase Litecoin? First off, I'm never going to tell you to purchase Litecoin. But would I be saying it's a good opportunity to purchase Litecoin if Litecoin is up here? No, I definitely wouldn't. And I'd feel extremely uncomfortable purchasing Litecoin myself if Litecoin was up here on this momentum oscillator. But it's not up there. And it's down here. And historically, in this area for Litecoin, this is accumulation phase. If you're long term, this is a monthly chart. If you're long term, this is a beautiful accumulation area for Litecoin. By the way, everybody, I see some comments coming in the live chat. I'm definitely going to cruise through later and watch the video and read some of your comments. I want you to know that I do that often. So this is where opportunity is. It's when it's down here. And interestingly enough, your emotions tell you the exact opposite. Many people are inclined to buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever, in environments like this when it's feel good and we're up and there's massive parabolic gains, but it's the worst time to buy, right? And many people have learned that lesson. But the second lesson many of those people need to learn, and it's a lesson that I've had to learn too, is to buy fear, to be comfortable at buying fear. Right now, we're in a fearful environment. Litecoin went from 140 to 55 rather quickly, right? But if you zoom out on the charts, you quickly realize this move is very typical for any cryptocurrency, right? So on top of being typical and on top of there is high risk in buying Litecoin right now, you look at the monthly RSI and it's looking sweet. Go to the weekly chart. There's some things, more factors I just want to look at. And this is very big influence for me personally. This is why I bought some Litecoin yesterday. I bought some Bitcoin yesterday. Number one, Litecoin is oversold, right? Look at the stock RSI down here on the weekly chart. It just looks good. There's no denying that. There's still high risk here. And so I purchase amount of Litecoin that I feel comfortable, right? That's what you need to do. There's still high risk. But it's oversold, right? We're not in that bull market high environment where we're in this overbought area, right? We're opposite. We've had a huge retracement. So if you believe in cryptocurrency and there's going to be continued success and uptrend, this is it. Like, this is literally the best opportunity to buy. Number two, influencing me, another factor is this, and this isn't a bullish factor. This is actually a quite bearish factor. Which is to say, on the RSI, and we talked about this for like the last year, the 40 line on this RSI, it is a differentiating factor, bull market versus bear market. You'll see Litecoin hang out under this 40 line in a bear market, right? Here's our previous bear market low. Here's that 2014 to 2015 bear market low on the RSI. Concerning, and this influences my decisions on how much I'm willing to risk right now, is the RSI is currently just dipped on the weekly chart below 40. With that being said, there's additional context you have to keep in mind. Bitcoin does lead truly from a zoomed out perspective. It does lead all markets in cryptocurrency, right? So we always have to keep a close eye on Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin, if you look at the same weekly RSI currently, not at the 40 line yet. And that is what's important. So if we look at this RSI, here's the bear market that we were just in. Here's the bear market low, 2014-15. Now, what we have to keep an eye on is this 40 line for Bitcoin, because we can most certainly, right? And this happened when we exited the last bear market. We came up real nice, came back down, tested that 40 line, continued into bull market, right? That could be happening now. Came out of bear market, retraced real nice, close to 40 line, and we come out of bull market. This could go into spring. This could take a while. So that context that we have with Bitcoin data, namely this RSI and the 40 line, very important when determining what you're going to do with Litecoin, right? So that kind of counterbalances the higher risk that Litecoin has being under the 40 line. So I'm taking that into account with my approach. Number 3, Bitcoin RSI. Well, not number 3. I already just covered that. So that was number 2 and 3. So you have all context in regards to Bitcoin momentum as it relates to Litecoin momentum, and kind of, balances out risk there if you're accumulating. The fourth point is pattern, right? What's going on the pattern and moving averages on the daily chart, because we just went from the monthly to the weekly. Now we're on the daily chart. So here's what we have. And we can take a quick glance at Bitcoin. It doesn't look exactly the same, but Bitcoin's in a falling wedge, right? We looked at it at the beginning of this video, July 22nd, 2019, over 2 months ago. Bitcoin above 10,000. We talked about this lower low move, right? From 8,500, and I mentioned down to 8,100 in this video. We talked about it. And we are there. Took 2 months to get here, but we are there. Similarly, if you go to back to July 22nd on these charts, Litecoin was like around $100. Now we're almost half that, $55. Took a couple months. We've hit another lower low for Litecoin. So we're in a falling wedge for Litecoin. It's a huge determining factor for me in accumulating on the daily chart, simply because when you're at a lower low in a falling wedge, that's typically with high risk. I have to always say, it's hard to say words like comfortable, but it's when I feel comfortable buying Litecoin, when we're in a lower low environment like this, right? But there's still such high risk. I have to just underline that. I have to highlight that fact. There's high risk, but I bought yesterday because we're in this lower low environment. It's harder to buy when we're in a lower high, right? With resistance at the 50 moving average. That's very scary. But when we're retraced from a move like that, right? And we did get resistance from that previous high, and we're down 37%. Now we're talking. Now we're buying the dip. That's my approach to Litecoin and Bitcoin. So not only we're oversold on the weekly RSI, we're really coming down on the monthly RSI, but we're oversold on the RSI, the stock RSI on the daily charts. So it's a comfortable area for me personally. I want to say that my approach, and actually everything I shared in this video took me a little less than 20 minutes. It really is the key fundamentals to when I'm buying, right? So if you see Litecoin down 30% from its previous swing high, if you see all these momentum oscillators in the oversold area, if you see all this happening in the middle of a bullish pattern, potentially bullish pattern that could potentially have a bullish breakout, that's when I'm buying more comfortably. So you get really good insight into my approach. Don't follow my approach, but take the data that I'm sharing with you and create your own approach. Everybody has such different factors, right? Like, some people get paid every Friday. Some people get paid twice a month, once a month. I have my own revenue stream for my business that influences when and how much I buy, right? So it's like from a timing perspective, from a comfort perspective, from a risk perspective, everybody's so unique. There's nobody that's the same, but we do all have the same data. We are sharing the same charts, and we're looking at the same moves. And historically speaking, right now the charts are saying to me, this is a higher opportunity for buying Bitcoin and Litecoin than say right here, right? And I'll just mark it. Here's Litecoin chart. Better opportunity to buy down where we are now, $55, rather than up here around 140. I mean, I feel like I can almost say that factually. If you're looking at Bitcoin, exact same thing, especially because we already had this historical context, right? That says coming out of a bear market, Bitcoin might hit heavy resistance at a key Fibonacci area, right? The swing high bull market, swing low resistance here, 786 to 618. We had that already saying that potentially could happen, right? So this is high risk. When Bitcoin was making a nice move up into this area coming out of the bear market, all the momentum oscillators, look at the weekly, overbought, right? So we're overbought there, we're overbought on the stock RSI, and we're hitting a key Fibonacci cycle resistance area. We hit that. So if you're buying here, that is extremely risky. Now, from that area, right, if you're buying the dip, 40% plus dip, then the opportunity is a little safer. The risk is a little less. And I believe that to be true. And you can even see from that Fibonacci in that last cycle, Bitcoin down 40%. So it's even back then, same exact thing. If you were to accumulate Bitcoin here, long term would have been fine, right? And we might be in a similar scenario. Long term would have been fine, but if you're buying here, you would have been better off buying here, this dip, 40% dip, right? That retracement. And then the same thing, you're better off buying down here. Now, same scenario though. When you look back at this chart, right, and you say, man, if somebody did buy in this resistance area, they had an immediate 40% decline in their like investment, right? You say they invested $10,000, that they're already down $4,000, right? So they have $6,000 left of Bitcoin down here, all the way down here. It bounced pretty quickly. And nobody could see the future, but if they only knew, it really actually didn't matter buying at this resistance area. They're buying $800 Bitcoin. It didn't matter in the ensuing bull market, did it? And so we might be in a similar situation where we're looking at Bitcoin charts now, and we're saying, okay, this is high risk right here to buy Bitcoin. It's definitely better to buy down here. But I wonder if years to come, 4 or 5 years ahead, we zoom out and we look at the charts, and we actually can go to my long-term chart. Will it play out where we have a similar scenario, right? Meaning it didn't matter if somebody bought back here in 2016. Will it not matter if somebody bought this little swing high? Because will we be sitting up here, right? 2021, speculatively. That could truly be the case. And these are things that you have to take into account when purchasing. Don't get too bullishly emotional about it because, it's speculative. However, it really truly could play out like this. Though it's scary being down 40% plus from its most previous swing high for Bitcoin, everything is really truly consistent with Bitcoin right now. It hasn't done anything out of the ordinary. There's nothing in the markets that would suggest that Bitcoin is failing or Bitcoin is on its way to zero or this time it's different, right? It's just really nothing on the charts to suggest that. Could it be the case? Yeah. And we'll find out, if you're a long-term holder, probably when it's too late, right? And that's the risk you have to be willing to take if you're in these markets. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin and Litecoin. I had to change some settings. That's why the first live stream I did got kind of messed up. What's up, everybody? Jim Flanagan, what's up? Jim, I saw your comment. I appreciate that on Twitter. Rob, appreciate you, dude. I saw so many of your comments on Twitter, and I don't think I talked about it in this video, but this is the tweet. I tweeted yesterday that I was debating no longer taking the time to create YouTube content. So many critical comments, everybody. And it's probably a little dramatic, probably a little whiny on my part to tweet this, but I was just venting because it was just a video, I think, that got a lot of negative comments. And I was just venting. I said, it's free content. How is everybody so entitled? Because I really, truly, I don't understand. And we got, this got way more comments than I thought it would. So many stinking comments. And I appreciate everybody so much. So if you're on here and you commented about that, thank you. I appreciate it. I wasn't posting that to look for people to pat me on the back or, say nice things about me. I've truly been wondering, this isn't my living, YouTube. All right, I'm running a business, and we have so much work. Our first employee starts this week, and I've been so overextended that I'm just, when I see negative comments, I'm like, what am I wasting my time for? And I have to say, I was convinced after I tweeted this and all the stinking comments, like I think almost 200, like mostly just awesome, right? And this person focused on the positive. It completely changed my mind. Like there's a lot of people that commented I never really even seen. So thank you. And I'll stop talking about it now, but you guys are awesome. You really are. So that was a bullish indicator for my YouTube channel. So in terms of Bitcoin, and this video, I'm telling you, it really shows me and reminds me the consistency of the chart. Talking about $8,100 lower low, and now we're here, right? It makes me feel even more bullish because we literally got the move that we're talking about was possible. We're oversold right now. Opportunity is high. So what I want to ask is press 1 in the comments right now if you are bullish on what we've talked about today. You're bullish on Bitcoin. You're bullish on Litecoin. Press 2 if you're just bearish and you literally just are just like, we're going to 5,000. I just want to get a sense of everybody's thought process. Press 3 if you don't know. I like it. Press 3 if you don't know and you're like scratching your head and you're just like, I can't take this. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should buy. I see a lot of ones, a lot of bullishness. Alex Kappa says we're going to 6,500. Definitely some bullishness going on in this chat. Some bearishness. 6,500. So interestingly enough, if you look at the charts, right, for Bitcoin, 6,500 is this weekly, is this 50-week moving average, right? And if you zoom out on the charts and you really you're taking more and more things into perspective, we definitely see it as a possibility, right? This wick was close, and this is back after Bitcoin hit key resistance here in that last Bitcoin cycle before entering the bull market. Bitcoin, very volatile. I don't know how long, this is the weekly chart, so it wicked down close to the 50-week moving average, this blue line. It's kind of, for me, that last line of bullish defense. It will truly define how long we must wait until we get the next bull market. Because if Bitcoin breaks this, that's going to be actually quite concerning. I'm not going to be extremely bearish and create all these bearish videos, but it's going to be concerning because that will be a divergence for Bitcoin. We need support above the 50-week moving average. So if we don't get it, it's going to say a lot in terms of the time frame that we might have to wait until entering a bull market, right? And plus, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, if we do break below this line, somebody mentioned 6,500, that 50-week moving average is right around 6,500, right? So support there, extremely awesome. If we did make a move there, already on the weekly, we're oversold on these RSIs, right? Almost oversold on the RSI. The stock RSI is oversold. But if we got to 6,500, it's going to be even more oversold. The opportunity for accumulation in that area, in my opinion, if you have the risk tolerance to do this, is extremely strong, right? If Bitcoin is to continue upside and see all-time highs in the next couple of years, and exceeding all-time highs, I should say, then a move to $6,500, although on the short term, isn't the best, it's a great lower low area, right? And we're not even that far away. We're $1,600 away from $6,500 Bitcoin. So that's it. Jim Flanagan says you'll never catch the bottom. And that's extremely true. So you really Some people might think the bottom is here, $8,100. And they might be accumulating because they're like, this is not going any lower. We're going to bounce here. And then it goes to $6,500. You have to realize when you're making your decision to accumulate, it could go lower, right? So I just bought Bitcoin and Litecoin yesterday, understanding it could go lower. Like Bitcoin can go to $6,500. I could have this loss, but there's two things to take into account when you're making that decision. Number one, if you think there will be a hard bounce and we're going to break all-time highs eventually, this would be a short-term loss, right? If you can afford to be without that money, that's not a big deal then, right? A short-term loss, if we hit 6,500 and we're there for weeks or months and then we go up, that short-term loss is not that bad. It's still worth it. And then the second most important thing influencing accumulation at $8,100, putting aside it could go to $6,500, you have to keep in mind it could go to $500, right? The worst possible scenario could happen. Bitcoin could fail. $20,000 could be the highest Bitcoin ever goes for the history of Bitcoin. I'm not saying I think that'll happen, but you have to have that in the back of your mind if you're buying Bitcoin, because it could happen, right? There's no guarantees here. This is extremely risky, volatile space. So that's it. That's kind of my approach to Bitcoin, to accumulation. We're having a housewarming party today, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, what the heck? I have to go get ready for this thing. If you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, come on. Hit that subscribe button. Dude, I need to get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm like 25% there. I need like a massive bull market. I think we get there pretty quick. It's just fun. I really do enjoy this YouTube channel. I apologize. I thank you for allowing me to vent yesterday in my tweet. I promise I'll try not to put focus on any negative comments. Anybody that's here right now, I do want to say to you, thank you so much just for hanging out with me. If you commented on Twitter yesterday or in the comments here, thank you. You know, I'm not needy of compliments. I'm not needy of these things, but it was encouraging. I got to say, it was encouraging. Definitely put some fuel in my YouTube tank. So I'm bullish on my YouTube videos, at least continuing them for the short term. I have to go help Sarah get ready for this housewarming party that we're doing. And again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you're here right now. You got any value out of this. I hope each and every one of you is having a great weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.